Before beginning the video, I want to welcome you and also invite you to a big marathon that we got going on in San Diego. The Adrenalina Marathon, 6 laps around Fiesta Island, coming November 20th, 2016. Hope to see you there. What's up? This is Michael, San Diego Skateboard Longboard Race Club. I have an update to a video that I produced about a month ago. In it, I was testing some 107 electric flywheels and using polar bear trucks on a Landyachtz Switch 40. This deck is actually 9.5 inches wide. I know you'll look at a lot of catalogs and it'll say 10, but tape doesn't lie. 9.50. Wheelbase, always measured from the inside truck holes, is 32 inches. I have upgraded, well, for me personally, because it works better. I rode these wheels for about a week, and as fast as they were when I first put them on, I had a few issues with them. For one, when the weather is a little warm, like 80 degrees, they have a tendency to drift. Felt sketchy to me. I like stability. Now don't get me wrong, these are awesome wheels, probably for someone stronger or who has a certain course they're gonna ride. But for my strength and weight and ability, they didn't work for me. So I went back to a brand that I really like. Last year they held the speed record, land speed record. These are the Seismic Speed Vents. This is the Defcon formula. They come in 3 different durometers. This is 78.5. You got the bubblegum 77s, and they also have a transparent blue, which is 75. Now, a shop that I buy a lot of my product from has them on their boards, and they've had no problem, but they had a problem chunking when they first came out. They probably resolved that, I don't know. But I've had 0 problem with the Defcon formula, and what I really like about it is that it just offers a nice resistance as you do a brake check. And they even slide on the right street with the right surface. Another change I made was, I'll have to make another video on trucks, and the reason why I chose, but I'm just going to give it up right now, are the Arsenals. These are 180s with a 50-degree base plate. This is the cast version. I absolutely love these trucks for this LDP setup. I was able to use some riptide fat cones, and the reason why I like these trucks, the way they hold the bushings, I was able to use the way the bushing seats are in the base plate,
is I was able to use 85, which I never do with my weight, but the board was very stable with an 85 WFB fat cone. I also didn't use the riptide big washer that comes in the package. I used a standard longboard flat washer. So this board, 2 things that I wanted it to do, other than being at a great ride height, I didn't want my heels or toes to actually hit the ground when I'm going down a big hill, and I wanted a good pump action when I'm carrying speed. And obviously I went to the Landyachtz design because I also wanted safety when you are kicking and you bring your foot back on the board with the drop down deck. They have a nice transition area here. You're not going to tag your wheel. And mind you, these are 85s. And because I went to the 85s and I left the 107s behind because personally they didn't work for me, I changed the polar bear trucks because I was looking for a truck that would actually give me a really good pump to kind of rest up from kicking. just an awesome board. I already gave you the details on the specs on that. Yeah, really totally impressed. This is a 9-ply Canadian hard rock maple, and from what I understand they have a fiberglass layer in here too. The board is fairly rigid, but it has just a smidge of flex in it. Now, this isn't the board. Moving past the updates that I made on the last video, this isn't the board I train on. And I'll tell you why. I had a custom board made for the club so that I could recommend it to my friends or other club members who wanted to do distance. And I tested a few different, got a few demo boards, and really this is the stiffest 9-ply I've ever ridden, which is great when you're doing distance because it doesn't flex, you don't lose your energy into the road. Something I prefer. Other people like a bounce in their deck. I don't. And the other thing too is this deck is a little shorter than my race board. Again, the race board is really for the flats with some mild transitions, grades on the roads, whereas my trainer, I can pretty much go down any hill on this board, and that's really free riding for me. It's stepping out my front door. I'm in Claremont and I could skate to Ocean Beach, you know, have a brew and then come back home. And this is a 30.50 deck wheelbase, and this is a little wider. It's 10 inches, and the transition
the concave is milder.
So it's for free riding. It gives me a little easier access on my real estate, whereas the Landyachtz, it's great for pumping because it has a little bit of a concave on the edges. But for training, like I said, the other day, I went like 20 miles on this and hit numerous hills, which would have been restrictive on the Landyachtz. I can actually slide this drop board. What I've done also, because I am using this to go down any hill, but also I want distances, I raise the trucks. I cut some wedges. This is a riser pad with a wedge, and I was able to take a few degrees off the Paris V2 trucks, like say probably 5 or 6 degrees, which afforded me a little bit more stability so that I could run the bushings that I prefer, to be able to pump, to be able to have stability on free ride, and also to have the resistance I want when I'm going down hills as I'm breaking into my slides. The 70mm wheels works for all purpose for me. Kind of makes me work a little bit harder, but I don't even notice it actually. The 70s that I like, I got a case of these metal mothers. They're the 78A. I like a little bit resistance when I'm sliding. I want to be able to be really secure when I'm holding my line, but at the same time I want them to be able to push out. If one of the club members says, well, you know what, I'm going to be hiking up hills all day and I just want a board to go down, to rip down, then I would take the wedges out, because as I show you in this board right here, same board, I take the wedges out. Again, these are Paris V2s, same wheels, 70mm, but with the wedges out, again, the board is, you know, a deck width taller, which makes it, you know, a little less user-friendly for kicking 20 miles. But at the same time, you could just put these cut wedges back on and use it more as a multi-purpose board. So that's a club deck that I have available. And again, the Landyachtz is even probably 3/8 to 1/2 inch, you could say a deck width lower than the trainer. So when I'm done training and I get on this board, I'm definitely holding more speed with the bigger 85mm wheels,
I'm definitely have, you know, a big safety issue. I'm not going to step on the wheel. The board, want to remind you, it is 32 inches for the wheelbase compared to 30.50. You might not think an inch 0.5 is much, but when you're going down hills, it's a huge difference. And let me just throw out there, if I was going to go and just do hills for myself, because, you know, I have a collection of boards, if I'm doing nothing but free riding or downhilling, then I'm going to use my micro drop top mount board, because it's going to turn a lot faster. This has got a 28-inch wheelbase. My feet can be on top of the trucks, but it also, you can see it's, you know, almost 2 inches higher than the Landyachtz, so kicking this board for even 5 miles just gets to be a strain. So that's why, but it's more like a specialty board, just like, let's say, the board I use for park. It's a specialty board, you know, smaller wheels. I like the Polar Bear trucks for it as well. But that's a whole different video. And mind you, I am trying to help people get ready for the marathon. So I have a few examples of some Sector 9 decks here. They're a drop through. The drop through is the deck that I recommend, because when you're kicking and you bring your foot back on with a drop through deck, as long as you don't let the wheels go higher than the deck, you're still safe when you overshoot. Whereas this is the board I raced last year, but you can see, because I had to cut out for clearance for the wheels with the wheelbase I wanted, it's easy to overshoot the deck, tag the wheel, stick the wheel, and you launch. I even tried setting this board up differently with, you know, I cut the wheel wells out different, tried to leave more transition in the front. As you can see, there's a little bit more cut out in the back with some 90mm Abec-11. I think these are Flywheels. But again, same problem. When you get really fatigued, there is that chance to put your foot out and stick the wheel. And let me mention as well, you know, even if you just have your own drop-through deck, you can raise the trucks. And if you have a wooden deck, you can route this out if you have enough, like say a 9-ply deck here. There's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of structural strength right here. But on certain decks, if you were to cut this area out for wheel clearance, it's going to make the board really sloppy as far as flex-wise. But on our club deck, you can run a smaller seismic wheel. These are 77s. Also, the 80mm from the Kegels work really awesome. I mean, you can get by with just running some standard Sector 9 wheels. I would be remiss if I didn't. These big zigs carry speed. They don't break into slides as well, but they do have a really great rebound, quick rebound. So these carry a lot of speeds, great wheels. These as well. These are, I think, 76s or 75s. Anyway, either or. Now, I'm in the spirit of trying to keep the video quick. I had some different setups. I have some over there, the Paris with a 43-degree base plate with a 50-degree in the front. Same deck design to try to use it as more of a downhill board. But I'm really, for the most part, when I'm doing downhill, I want to be on a top mount because, you know, you skate long enough and you're going to have a little quiver full of stuff you want to use for specific disciplines. I have my club deck right here with some road trucks, some 77s, so you can see. I can use this as an example. These are really pretty fast wheels, these busting wheels, but when you overshoot the board, when you're kicking, when you bring your feet back on, you're not gonna just step on the wheel, because most of your foot will still be on the board. You'll readjust, and And that's why I really like the drop-through boards for the marathon race. Well, I'll finish up by showing you, these are the 107s that I had in the prior video. These are the 85s, and then you can see the 70s. So there you have it. I hope this video helps you out. If you have any questions, just drop me a line. We do, for all our members at San Diego Skateboard Longboard Race Club, you sign up, we make this deck available for our members, depending on how much I have this unmodified. So depending on what wheels you want to use, what trucks you want to use, what discipline you want to do, I help you set that all up. Anyway, I think that pretty much wraps it up. My main purpose was to kind of give you an update on these electric flywheels, and also kind of encourage you to train on something that's maybe just a little bit taller, and then introduce you to the board that our club has in order to train and to really hit the streets and wherever you feel like going. This is really my daily commuter right here. Can't say enough about this board, but I'll save that for another video. Alright, this is Michael signing off, San Diego Skateboard Longboard Race Club, and until the next one, see ya!
In closing, I just want to add that the Abec-11 107mm flywheels were just a little bit too much work for me going up grades. And like I said, for another skater, they might be perfect.